Hey guys, welcome to the Trash Picture Show. Today is the 30th anniversary of one of my favourite sci-fi sequels of all time, Predator 2. Yes, Predator came out this time 30 years ago in 1990. And while it isn't obviously as good as the first Predator, I have a big soft spot for it because it expands the lore and expands the culture and mythology of the Yautja. And it makes the transition from the jungle to the city really well. And to celebrate that, I've decided to have 10 fun facts about Predator 2. Starting with fun fact 1, they were originally going to go with the idea the Dark Horse comic Predator Concrete Jungle was running with, whereas Arnie would return, but not as Dutch, as his twin brother Roush. Roush Schaefer was a detective in the NYPD who would pick up the trail left behind and have to solve a mystery of why his brother went missing. After a while and a bit of mulling over, though, I think Fox execs realised that while this plotline works in a comic, it would be a bit silly to have Arnie return as his quote unquote twin brother. It was like something out of a daytime soap. But they did keep a lot of the elements, such as the city setting, such as a bunch of cops taking on the Predator. There was also elements of gang warfare in the Dark Horse Concrete Jungle comic, and even parts were literally lifted where the Predator slaughters some people on a subway. That was taken from the comic and transposed into the movie, and I think it done a really good job. So yeah, if you haven't read the Dark Horse comic, it's in the Predator Omnibus Volume 1. Definitely worth checking out. And I think as you read it, you'll realise what they lifted and what they changed. And it is a fairly fun read, but I don't think if they had Dutch's twin brother, it would have been taken as seriously. The audience could have had taken it as seriously as it was. So fun fact 2, the LA Lakers were the Predators in the end of the movie. Yeah, so at the end of the movie, essentially the city hunter is killed and the climax takes place in a ship. So a bunch of his fellow Predators uncloak and carry the body away. And the problem was Stephen Hopkins needed guys who were like 6.5, 7 foot tall to play these Predators. And Danny Glover said, "Hey, I'm actually friends with a bunch of the LA Lakers." So they got LA Lakers from the 1990 roster to portray the Predator. I'm not a big basketball fan, but any of you guys watching this video, if you want to surmise or theorize who they got, what exact players they got to be the Predators, maybe drop your ideas in the comments below. We might have some fun trying to discuss and think who would have been this Predator and that Predator. So yeah, the LA Lakers played the Lost Tribe Predators at the end of the movie. Fun fact 3, the pistol, the flintlock pistol that Harrigan receives from the Greyback, the elder Predator, has its own backstory. The name engraved on the Predator is Raphael Andolini. And again, this story is taking place in the comics. Predator 2 had a very kind of deep connection with the Dark Horse comics, but Raphael Andolini's pistol has a backstory. Essentially, Raphael Andolini was a pirate captain whose crew robbed the monastery, and Andolini was very kind of devout religious man, and he was going to give the money back, but his crew mutineered, and he tried to escape on a deserted island with the money, and his crew tracked him down, and before he could be killed, the Golden Angel, or the Greyback, but as Andolini referred it to, the Golden Angel appeared and helped him fend off his mutinous crew. And then when they thought they had the crew wiped out, both the Golden Angel Predator and Andolini drew blades on each other. However, there was one crew member that was still alive. He ended up killing Andolini. The Predator killed that crew member, and out of a mark of respect for a fellow warrior, he gave him his extendable cutlass and took Andolini's pistol as a token of respect. So yeah, there's an entire backstory. That comic itself is in, I think, Predator Omnibus 3 or 4. If you get a chance, check it out. Really good story. I know I kind of surmised it there, but if you check it out, the artwork's cool. Some of the dialogue, some of the beats is fantastic. I can't do it justice explaining it. But again, there is an entire backstory to that flintlock pistol. So, fun fact 4, the Greyback Predator, the elder Predator, at the end of the movie, he looks kind of familiar. That's because that is the original Predator mask. That is the Jungle Hunter mask that Stan Winston and his colleagues retooled and refitted to make older, to make a more regal looking Predator. They essentially painted the skin texture a different color and the dreads a different color and put on a couple of piercings and trinkets and stuff. But that is essentially the mask and suit from the first movie. It's not the same Predator. It's just they used that actual suit and kit bashed it to make it into a newer, more regal Predator. And yeah, the greyback is actually one of my favorite kind of Predator designs and characters. As I said before, he was also known as the Golden Angel back in 1715, and they gave him the name because he was very regal, like a greyback, silverback gorilla. So yeah, again, that is the actual same mask and suit from the first Predator. Fun fact 5. Thanks to this movie cemented Bill Paxton as being one of the few, I would contest one of the only, but other people, I'll get to that in a moment, one of the few people to be killed by an alien, a Terminator, and a Predator thanks to this movie. A lot of people say Lance Henriksen was as well, but Bishop was only torn in half by the Queen. He wasn't killed, he wasn't deactivated. But yeah, Bill Paxton's character of Jerry Lambert was killed by the Predator, cementing Bill Paxton as being the guy who's killed by the top 3 sci-fi terrors of the 80s. And yeah, it's pretty cool. There's a lot of theories because of the AVP movie that a lot of people are theorizing that Jerry Lambert might have been an ancestor of Hudson. What do you think? Do you think it's an ancestor to Hudson from Aliens? If you have any theories or ideas, leave your thoughts in the comments below. Fun fact 6. Fun fact 6. This movie, yeah, I can't even read my own writing. This movie cemented Predator lore. So yeah, a lot of the stuff we got for the video games and expanded media comes from Predator 2. The weapons, a lot of the newer weapons, a lot of more common weapons were introduced in this movie, such as the disc, such as the combi stick, such as the flechette launcher. It's really cool the amount of stuff that this movie gave to the likes of video games and comic books. Even certain aspects, such as in the prior movie, we found out that the Predator won't kill unarmed prey. In this movie, we learn it won't kill prey that is pregnant or not considered a worthy kill. The main reason for this is this young Predator was on an initiation, so he had elders to supervise him and make sure he didn't break any of the code or rules. But yeah, Predator 2 is where we get a majority of the mythology. Other movies tried adding on. I think the one that done the best job was obviously 2010's Predators with Adrian Brody on the Game Preserve and just the different fractions and the ideas of Bad Bloods. That also added to the lore. But yeah, Predator 2, I think, is the one that cemented this franchise. And these creatures, they're not just monsters. They have a code. They're not mindless marauding creatures. They're hunters. They're sportsmen. They do this for religious and cultural purposes. And that's pretty cool. So yeah, I love Predator 2 for the main reason that it is one of the movies that fleshed out the entire Yautja culture. And I think a lot of people kind of overlook that. Like, when you play any of the video games, if you're using a particular weapon, chances are that weapon didn't just spawn from the first Predator, it spawned from Predator 2. So yeah, that's fun fact 6. Fun fact 7. The crew of Predator 2, Stephen Hopkins divulged the crew of Predator 2 had bottles of piss thrown at them. So yeah, when filming in downtown New York, they were filming at all hours of the night. And obviously people had to get up from work, or people were trying to just relax and chill, and then you had a noisy film crew outside making all kinds of racket. So people would open up their windows and fling bags of shit and bottles of piss to try and dissuade them. But thanks to the perseverance of the crew, they powered on and they went through it. And Stephen Hopkins said that, like, working in New York City at that time was probably probably the most arduous shoot he had ever done, especially down the alleyways. They'd come across like rats the size of Pomeranians and just find dead bodies and stuff while they were shooting. And it was just, I can imagine how fucking crazy it would have been to shoot in New York City in 1990. But yeah, so the poor crew had bottles of piss and bags of excrement thrown at them. Fun fact number 8. Stan Winston was a big fan of the Dark Horse comic, particularly the AVP comic, so he snuck in the Xenomorph skull. He put in the Xenomorph skull, and he was wondering what the execs would do, and they saw it, and they're like, actually, that's pretty cool, so let's run with that. And that's why at the midpoint of the movie, where the Predator is polishing King Willie's skull, it doesn't pan up too much, because the execs were worried that people would get distracted. But at the end, you see that Xenomorph skull front and center, and it's pretty cool. It expands the lore, and it's a really nice nod to the guys from Dark Horse who worked on the comics. So yeah, that was pretty cool of Stan Winston to do. Fun fact 9: Anna was meant to appear. Apidia, I can't pronounce her name, but the actress who played Anna was supposed to appear in this movie as kind of archival footage. She was going to have been interviewed by AWolf. That's the organization that Peter Keyes works for. And essentially that would have made her the only actor or character to appear in more than one movie in the franchise. And I don't know, was it for time or budgetary concerns, but they cut that scene. But you can still see in the command center that Harrigan's brought into a picture of Anna in the background. But yeah, there was meant to be an actual video interview with her. I don't think they could have gotten Schwarzenegger, but Elpidia was supposed to appear in this movie in an interview tape. So yeah, it's kind of sad. It would have been nice to have seen her return. And the last fun fact: AWolf, the corporation or the company, the kind of the Black Ops CIA based company that appears in this, is, again, it's run by Peter Keyes, and obviously Peter Keyes' son, Sean Keyes, turns up in The Predator, played by his son, Jake Busey. But this isn't the only time AWolf has actually appeared in another movie, and maybe I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel. They also appear in Alien vs. Predator Requiem, where I think it's General Phillips. I'm not 100% sure. Robert Joy's character is in a command center, and he's a bunch of screens just on, and he's looking at the alien, and he's like, what the fuck are you? And in one of the screens you can see the symbol for AWolf in the background. So yeah, again, that's pretty cool. That's like, not a great movie, but they at least try to tie it on. I think before they got Robert Joy, they were originally going to go with William Baldwin. One of the Baldwins, the guy who played Jane from Firefly. They wanted him back as Garver from Predator 2. They wanted him back, and he turned it down. So yeah, it was kind of cool that AVPR took the time. Again, there's a lot of problems with that movie, but there's some things I like. But they took the time to at least try and reference the in-universe of that movie. They also had Miss Yutani at the end, but by and large, I thought that was cool. So yeah, that's my 10 fun facts about Predator 2. Have you any fun facts about the movie? Leave your answers in the comments below, and yeah, have a good one. Take care. Bye now.